Hi, everybody. I'm here with Heidi Wassini, and we're talking recruiter enablement. So, Heidi, thank you for joining me today. Great to see you. Give us a quick introduction to you.
Thank you so much for having me on here, Adam. So my name is Heidi. I've been working in the talent attraction, talent acquisition space for the past 15 years. I have been working in companies with 10 people and 10,000 people, so anywhere in between corporate, startup, scale up. And my latest adventure was with Vivino, scaling up their business just after COVID.
Yeah, great. Okay. What's recruiter enablement to you?
Recruiting enablement for me is enabling you to do the job well and to put your strengths where they are supposed to be. So everything, sorry, everything that can be automated should be automated. So you don't spend time on registering things, putting things like CVs into the database, like everything that can be done in an easy way so that you can spend the majority of your time on candidates and hiring managers and on things that create value rather than on things that just take away time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what do you believe? Like, I mean, recruiters should not be spending their time putting CVs into the database and things like that. What do you believe? I think recruiters' time should really be protected as much as possible. What are the sort of most high value things that recruiters really should be spending their time on?
I think they should when I say recruiter, I mean the talent acquisition partner because I believe that they should be a partner to the business. So I think it's still a mindset change that's going on from the very um, reactive operational mindset of just replacing A with B. Whereas the talent acquisition mindset, the partner mindset to me, is really understanding the strategy of the business, understanding where the team is going, understanding what leadership is needed, what culture there is. How can you bring diversity into the team? How can you bring the hiring manager and the team on that journey? How do you create a sense of belonging in the process for the candidate and when they start? All these things, I believe, are connected into being a talent acquisition partner. And a partner doesn't just take the order. A partner will spar with the hiring manager. And that is where they spend the majority of the time, supporting the hiring manager, challenging them, um, being that partner to them, just like a business partner would be, but on a different aspect, and ensuring a good candidate experience, humanizing that touch points where they are able to.
Yeah, and if they're spending their time like pressing buttons they shouldn't be pressing, then they don't have time to do that consultative type
Exactly.
of work. Yes, okay. Um, can you tell me about any like processes or like ways of working around recruiter enablement that have either worked for you or that you've seen working and that you would recommend?
I think it's a tough question because I've seen bits and pieces, but I haven't really seen like from A to Z. I think some are still trying to make it work. Obviously, a good ATS is like the foundation of it because if you have a really interesting, I don't want to say the word on air, but if you have a really bad system, it's hard to really do something about it because that alone will create so many manual workarounds that you cannot optimize it at all. So the places where I see it working are places where there is actually a good ATS for the foundation of it. And then either as a plugin or within the ATS, there are ways to make it more efficient. For example, just creating a workflow. Some ATSs will require consultancy work and days to create a new workflow. And some ATSs will allow you just to switch it around in the process because you realize, oh, I actually need a new step, or I want to do this to this recruitment. Just being able to do that as a recruiter is a great thing. The connection between LinkedIn and the ATS is another good enabler if that actually works and it takes the information with it. So there's a fluency. That's another good enabler, I think. And apart from that, there's some parts of the process that can be easier to manage, the communication back and forth with candidates, the communication with hiring manager, all that should be, but again, that's kind of like within the HCS. So the plugins, I haven't really seen, unless we're talking like assessing, interviewing with like 10 guy or doing like different other parts that you can put into your process. I haven't really seen it.
Let's talk about like a lot of your experiences in the talent attraction area. It's recruitment, marketing, it's employer branding. And I believe that recruiters need to be equipped with the right type of messaging and the right social media posts and job adverts and
Yeah.
things like that. How should talent acquisition teams be thinking about equipping recruiters with all the right communications and content?
I think that's a really, really good question, because I don't see that that is a priority right now. It's mainly just about posting a job. Some are doing it, but it's in Denmark, at least, it's still something that's on a very early stage, I would say. And it's some companies will even frown a little bit upon recruiters spending too much time on social media, because what is the effect of it? They don't really understand that the trend is going towards the authenticity of the brand, hence the people behind the brand, rather than the corporate spitting out different kind of messages. So I think if they were really equipping them with it, it should be easy to access communication. Like, what is the tone of voice? What is the CVI of that company, so that you can access it easy? Which way should we communicate? What are the framework for it? Something that you can easily plug and play. For example, I know a company I was in before, we implemented that you could select an image, write a text, and then in that way promote the job in a more uh, beautiful way than just
Yeah,
writing "we're hiring."
yeah.
So that was one enabler for the recruiters, which made
Mm.
it more professional the way they did it, so that they're not left alone to come up with all these things.
That's a really great example for me of recruiter enablement. So, Heidi, thank you very much for taking the time to join me today. It's been great to talk to you and catch up, and look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you so much for having me.